again. So it's a give and take exercise. You may tell me let those staff not go and work to deal with that Naleveni water. Then Naleveni water goes up again.
So maybe even to add from where the governor was, if you had enough staff, maybe they would be working in shifts and the overtime would not be there.
Sure, but you see that overtime is very little money for
compared to shifts.
Compared to shift.
Good, Chair. Mine is I picked something from the governor that we cannot compare all the counties uniformly and looking at the laws. Then after about 13 years of devolution, then as it occurred to you people as Council of Governors that we need to do an audit. And from the audit, then you can give proposals on what can be done so that also, there is no need for ourselves not to be realistic. I think we are not realistic in some of these things. In fact, some of us were thinking in the past that Nairobi should not have been a county.
But that is all the cities, because when you say it should not be a county, it's still human beings who will run it. The problem is financing. Now, devolution is the biggest gift to this country. There's more than 10% of the population is in Nairobi. You will not deny them that gift. But what you need to do is to make sure that the city, and that's why you have the Urban Areas and Cities Act, and provisions even in the County Government Act, that says the capital city, which is a county but also the seat of the national government, must have a special relationship with the national government. And certain things must be handled in a special way. The amount of money for roads for me should not just be subject to a formula like any other county. This is a diplomatic hub. This is also the UN headquarters and also the city. So Section 6 of Urban Areas and Cities Act provides for that, and we're working towards that together with the national government, where we'll possibly do what we call a capital city, a coordination committee as well that I chair. The governor chairs, the deputy will be from the national government, so that we can coordinate certain things, But what those with that idea have copied falsely examples of other capitals in the world. What happens is that when the most bustling economic capital of the country is also the administrative capital, many countries have moved from it, not removed it as a state. Like Lagos was not removed as a state. The national government went to Abuja, and Abuja is called Federal Capital Territory, FCT. Same thing happened in Australia. They moved to Canberra and created an artificial city. That is the capital. Same as Dodoma from Dar es Salaam. You didn't remove Dar es Salaam from the people, but you moved the administrative capital. Even Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, has no governor. It has no senator. It just has a mayor. It's a state. But was created by amalgamating along from Virginia, Delaware, etc. They created land and created an administrative capital. So it's very different. And many other examples.
I just wanted you to respond also on the earlier one. What plans do you have? Because I think that's an urgent and it is something that needs a discussion.
I think a process started. There was the Mutava Musimi-led process when he was chair of budget in the National Assembly that was reviewing devolution after so many years. I think as a COG, we should also give our perspective. I had a bit of it from the chairman of COG during the State of Devolution address, because it's the wear of the shoe who knows where it pinches. Being governor now for close to, 3 years now, 2.5 years, I can advise completely on the challenges counties are facing, on the limitation in understanding the law. Because when you think that the governor of Migori has the same challenges as the governor of Nakuru, you're completely wrong. The kind of intricacies in different cities. Why should I pay my chief officer for roads the same as Vihiga County? Yet I'm trying to attract a certain different caliber. Because when my chief officer for roads in Nairobi messes up, the impact on the global economy is more than Vihiga or another county. Why should I have So the one size fits all is the biggest mistake, you know. And I'll give you the final example. Nairobi has legal pending bills that were 21 billion. Legal. At least with my county attorney, we've been able to halve it to 10 billion pending bills. That 10 billion pending bills is because a lot of the work is outsourced to external lawyers. Yet, if the SRC does not insist that I pay a legal counsel the same as Nandi or Elgeyo Marakwet, I can attract the kind of talent that is in law firms out there and reduce that cost on the people of Nairobi. So what might look like an increment in the salary that I want to pay you what you'd get in the top law firm after 6 years post-admission is actually a saving of billions from outsourcing cases to lawyers out there. Every day you go, you'll find someone saying, oh, I have a pending bill of 100 million, pay me 500 million. Some of them are ridiculous. Somebody wants to be paid 1.5 billion. 1.5 billion. And I don't know, you lawyers, what it is. You have not built anything. There is no structure. There is no... It is to go and talk. Yet that money can build 5 stadia. That money can build markets for our people, you know. So when I approached the SRC, and I wrote to the SRC, and said, on the issue of the legal, and I've hired now another 48 lawyers, advocates, in Nairobi County. I'm now still haggling with the issue of the salary. By me increasing the salary of my legal counsel in the city by this amount of money, I will save the county billions in legal fees, which the Senate is always dealing with. So the evolution now needs to be pragmatic. Let us look at Mombasa. Mombasa has the potential of being our maritime capital in the region, bigger than Dar es Salaam. But it's constrained because you expect Mombasa to behave the same way as any other county. And you say the governors must have, 3, I don't know what, legal, what. What Abdul Somad admits is different from me. Lamu has the best natural port in Africa. The natural port there is the best in Africa. In fact, if you develop that corridor, including Lapset, you will turn the economy of this country on its head. But the governor is constrained by those issues. So I agree with you. I think we need to maybe bring some proposals to now take devolution to the next level. The first 10 years, I've set the foundation. Places that there were no roads, there are roads. Places that had no hospitals, now they have. But we now need to take it to the next level to achieve the true goals and intentions when we did the Katiba in 2009 to 2010.
Senator Eddy, the last question, and then we close.
Chair, the MD has talked very strong about the overtime pay. I think we should subject it to an impact analysis, impact assessment. Because if you look at it in terms of just the health of your cash flow, your salary and wages on a basic level is 3.5 billion. That means that your overtime amount is about 15% of your salary and wages, way above any other formation, for instance, of having rotating casuals, dealing with emerging complexities, or having what he was talking about, shifts. Okay? So, and actually, you ought to have commented on both overtime and bonus, because overtime and bonus are a function of your revenue performance, actually. That's how we call it. So it might look like 21 million is a small amount of money, maybe for you in the company, but it's a lot of money when you look at the financial health of the company, given the revenue that we talked about. So I wanted you to comment about that bonus of 21 million and what is necessitating it. But then, in as much as you have talked about overtime, I want you to actually do for us perhaps an impact analysis of what that shift looks like if you were to put people on wages, right? Not salaries, but on wages, and see whether you want to reduce this, or if you can work, if you can have those people on wages work on shift that Mbugua was talking about. I think it would drastically reduce up until when your revenue makes sense. But for me, those two costs are very high, given the wage bill that you're working with. Then the last thing, Chair, perhaps the governor
side. My question on bonuses and overtime is for you, particularly MD. But then for Governor, perhaps when you're making your comments, may you comment on what Senator Kavindu had raised. It's a very serious issue. And the issue was the issue of customer deposits. And let me just try and capture something here very fast, Chair, if you allow me. Yeah, I've gotten it. If you go to page 27, Governor, that is, if you look at it as note 22, if you don't have the same pagination, note 22 of your financials, that is cash and cash equivalent, you have given a detailed analysis of all the cash equivalents with all the accounts that are operating in this company. And the book balance that we're seeing here is 338 million. But if you look at note 27, you've got customer deposits that is about 1.2 billion. We are not seeing any operating account where they are, because if these are all the accounts that are running this particular company, then certainly the book balances cannot just be 338 billion. Unless this is an accounting form that Mr. Mondi did, which will bring us to the question, where is the account that is running the customer deposits? Because otherwise it should have appeared under that cash and cash equivalent. Yeah, so those would be my two. So, but perhaps starting with the MD on the bonuses, what is necessitating them, and has there been an impact assessment that has been done with regards to the issue of overtime vis-a-vis other forms of variations, starting from the shifts, casuals, on case-to-case basis?
I'll answer the bonus and the wages. Thank you so much. I think Mheshimiwa, I discussed about why we accrue overtime. I see the overtime accrues because of various activities in our systems, which you cannot do away with. I give you examples of water rationing. Where you stay, we have personnel who goes manually to turn the valves very early in the morning, so that the way our water is structured, the rationing program, it is done at around 6 to 8. So that by the time people in some areas, we change valves in the morning and then change again in the evening in many of the areas. So that areas where there was no water, by the time you're arriving in the house, at least there is water trickling. Or if your area was not receiving water yesterday at night, in the morning when you're waking up, at least there is some water.
I don't mean to cut you because of time. I am appreciating the fact that those things are emerging.
Yes.
The question we're talking about in terms of managing cost is overtime the best way to address them vis-a-vis things like what are about shifts or casuals in some wages to deal with those uncertainties that come within operation. And my question is, have you been able to actually do those assessments? Have you tried a formula that is this scientifically driven? Is the decision for overtime scientifically driven in terms of cutting costs? That's the question.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Shifts and overtime we have analyzed. Shifts and overtime we have analyzed. We can share the report. Okay? Yes. Bonuses, yes, we give staff tokens of 5,000 shillings every year as an appreciation for handwork. And a good example is the financial year which has ended. We were able to raise revenue by 1 billion in one financial year because of motivating the staff. Bonuses are given to motivate people. Thank you.
But I'm saying that if they're going to motivate people and the company is not performing, it has got material uncertainty.
Standard practice is you give a bonus based on performance.
In performance.
In fact, when you make profit is when you give a bonus.
I think
Increase of revenue is performance.
I guess expenses.
Thank you so much. I think it's misuse of the word bonus. It should be token of appreciation. Okay?
Excursion.
So it's a matter of English.
and the semantics of.
It should be a Christmas gift.
Sure.
It's a Christmas
Actually,
gift.
it should be more. I promised the executive staff, if they were to hit 15 billion this last financial year, they would get their 13th salary. One more salary. Unfortunately, they got to 13.8 billion. Maybe because of that last week of Gen Z and whatnot, because then revenue doesn't come in. But it's proper labor practice. The SRC has a framework for recognition of in 20 so are they first in no receive from